Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 18th of March 2025 and the prices of Bitcoin on the global cryptocurrency market, guys, is pretty much the same since yesterday. There are minor changes so far as the global cryptocurrency snapshot is concerned, but unfortunately, guys, the volume of stablecoins isn't that great. Now look, guys, it's really important to understand that tomorrow is when the FOMC meeting will be out, and it's going to be really interesting to see what is the decision that is done by Federal Chair Jerome Powell. And I'm pretty much sure because of that, the prices of Bitcoin could either jump up or it could go down drastically. And it does depend on the narrative that mainstream media goes with, isn't it? So what I'd really recommend you to do is go ahead and listen to the FOMC meeting. And Federal Chair Jerome Powell does actually go live via YouTube. But nonetheless, guys, in the episode that are released on the 20th, we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. Now in today's episode, guys, we have quite a lot of things to cover. Now the first news is definitely an unfortunate one. And this is to do with Bank of Korea, which is more of a central bank, and they have decided to go ahead and dismiss the idea of holding Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. Now what is really interesting to note, guys, is last week I talked about the Democratic Party from South Korea, where they were actually advocating for Bitcoin as a strategic reserve, and it's really interesting to note that the central bank has decided to go against it. Now could it be possible that the IMF is pressuring them? I definitely do think so. And in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. Now, the next news, guys, is in the world of ETF. And because President Donald Trump is re-elected, there is a very high chance we'll be having a Solana ETF, Dogecoin ETF, Ripple ETF, and now, guys, there is a possibility of a SUI ETF as well. And this ETF application has been filed by Canary Capital, so we'll definitely go ahead and discuss this. Now, look, guys, me personally, I'm definitely not a fan of ETF, but nonetheless, it's going to be really interesting to see so many ETFs being approved. So in a way, it is interesting times ahead as well. Now the next news, guys, is connected to European Central Bank. And looks like they're not only suffering from TDF, that is Trump derangement syndrome, but they're massive detractors of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as well. And one of the officials from European Central Bank did actually state negative things regarding policies in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies under the Trump administration. Now what is really interesting to note, guys, is the European Bank themselves are working on blockchain technology, so it is hypocritical for them to go ahead and bash cryptocurrencies. But nonetheless, guys, in today's episode, I'll go ahead and share my honest thoughts and opinion. Now, the final news, guys, is more of a drama on the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world. And unfortunately, guys, this is definitely not a good news. And this is connected to OnlyFans. And what happened is one of the OnlyFans stars, that is Amarnath, she was attacked by 4 teenagers at gunpoint. And they were trying to go ahead and steal her Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, thankfully, guys, her husband fired a shot and they had to flee the location. So definitely unfortunate news, isn't it? I thought in the Blockchain DXB podcast I'd never talk any drama, but let's go ahead and talk a little bit regarding the OnlyFans star. So quite a lot of cover, guys, in today's episode. And like we do in every Crypto and Coffee at 8 series, we will be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news, guys, is a really interesting one. And me personally, I'm not content with this news, to be completely honest, because this is more connected to an association. But nonetheless, guys, the news is that Avalanche, they have decided to join TheBlock, and they are joining as the first Apex member in Dubai. So we'll definitely go ahead and discuss what this news is all about. Now look, guys, me personally, I'm not a fan of foundations or associations, because the whole idea of Bitcoin was to go against it, isn't it? And when you talk about Bitcoin's definition, guys, it is peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So having an association, foundation, or even membership goes against the very ethos of why Bitcoin was created. But because Avalanche is a massive entity, I thought let's go ahead and discuss what this news is all about. Now the second news, guys, is definitely massive news, and this is connected to Crypto.com. And the news essentially is that Crypto.com is licensed in the UAE to offer derivatives, so definitely interesting news. So quite a lot of cover, guys, in today's episode. Let's kickstart with it right away. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of the Blockchain DXB journey. Firstly, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well. And Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously. And they're focusing on 3 Ps. That is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called The Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform. Check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, as you're taking care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now since the last 24 hours guys, there is not much happening in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world. And if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume, it is down to $2.71 trillion. And since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.26%. Now, if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume, guys, it is well below the $100 billion mark. It is only at $72.94 billion. And since the last 24 hours, it is up by 7.83%. Now, look, guys, I cannot stress the importance of tomorrow's date, because based on the announcement by Federal Chair Jerome Powell, these numbers are drastically going to change. Let's say Federal Chair Jerome Powell does decide to go ahead and increase the interest rate. I wouldn't be surprised if the total cryptocurrency market volume crosses the $200 billion mark. But increasing the interest rate would be absolutely catastrophic, and I'm pretty much sure the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies could actually go down. And if that thing happens, guys, the market cap of Bitcoin might actually go below the $1.50 trillion mark. But let's take a different situation, guys. Let's say Federal Chair Jerome Powell does decide to go ahead and reduce the interest rate. Here's the interesting thing that would happen. The market cap might actually go above the $100 billion mark, but the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be bumping up. And I'm pretty much sure the market cap of Bitcoin will actually touch the $1.80 trillion mark, maybe even the $2 trillion mark. So definitely keep an eye on the FOMC announcement. Now regarding the global cryptocurrency snapshot for the 18th of March, guys, the volume of decentralized finance is absolutely horrendous once again. And in terms of dollar amount, it is at $6.71 billion. And DeFi, guys, as of today, is accounting for 8.90% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And when you look at the total value locked, it is consistently on a downtrend since the last few months. And today the total value locked is $90.08 billion, with Lido still dominating with $17.71 billion so far as total value locked is concerned. Now if you look at the decentralized exchange dominance, guys, unfortunately the matrix is only at 21.18%. In an idealistic world, guys, this number should be consistent about the 40% mark, barring the centralized exchange volume, because this would actually mean that average individuals like you and me are using decentralized exchanges. When will that thing happen? I really am not sure. Now let's quickly run through the volume of decentralized exchanges. And since the last few days, guys, PancakeSwap's volume is definitely leading the pack, and today it is still at number 1 with $2.52 billion, whereas Uniswap, guys, is at number 2, but its volume today is well over the $1 billion mark. It is at $1.31 billion. Radium is at number 3, and its 24-hour volume is $397.92 million. Orca, guys, is at number 4. Its 24-hour volume is $298.92 million, whereas Meteora, guys, is at number 5, and its 24-hour volume is $254.48 million. Now let's do one thing, guys. Let's quickly run to the volume of stable coins. And unfortunately, guys, I'm really not content with this matrix. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, irrespective of the FOMC announcement, this particular matrix will definitely be crossing the $100 billion mark, and it's going to be really interesting to see if Federal Chair Jerome Powell does decide to go ahead and reduce the interest rate. Now, the only reason why people are worried about this is because President Donald Trump is really firm regarding tariffs, isn't it? And as of today, from the 2nd of April, tariffs will actually kick in, and it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of an impact does it have on trade. But look, guys, as I mentioned in the episode yesterday, it does depend on the narrative fake news and mainstream media goes with, and whether we like it or not, it is that narrative that will drive the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, regarding the 24-hour volume of stable coins, not only is the 24-hour volume less at $69.01 billion, stablecoins is accounting for 94.62% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume, and out of this 94.62%, guys, it is no surprise that Tether USDT is leading the pack, and its volume is $56.38 billion. Circle USDC, guys, is at number 2 so far as the 24-hour volume is concerned, and its 24-hour volume is $7.83 billion. FDUSD is at number 3, and its 24-hour volume is $4.05 billion. Now, if you look at the market cap of Bitcoin, guys, right now it is at $1.64 trillion, whereas Ethereum's market cap is at $229 billion. Now, if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, guys, for a Tuesday, this number is definitely not looking good. Bitcoin's 24-hour trading volume is $24.08 billion, whereas Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is at $10.42 billion. And surprisingly, guys, and not for good reason, the dominance of Bitcoin has actually increased, and today it is at 60.71%. And it's needless to say, guys, when the prices are going down, you don't want the dominance to increase, isn't it? It would be great if the prices are increasing, then if the dominance is increasing, it is a positive sign. Now, regarding Ethereum's dominance, guys, it is down to 8.50%. Now, every day, guys, in the Blockchain DXB podcast, I tend to look at one new matrix, isn't it? And today what I want to do is, I want to go to look at a really unique matrix, and this is connected to Binance BNB chain. Because since the last 48 hours, a lot of activity is actually taking place in Binance, and what I want to do is, guys, I want to go and look at the top 5 Binance Alpha tokens, and this is by market capitalization. Now, it's really important to understand, guys, these are the top 5 crypto tokens and tokens used by Binance Alpha, and the number 1 is Zondo, and its market cap is at $2.63 billion. The second one is Virtual Protocol, but look at the difference between the first and second one, guys. The market cap of Virtual Protocol is down to $451 million, a massive anomaly, isn't it? The third one is Aerodrome Finance. Its market cap is $408 million. Morpho is at number 4th. Its market cap is $306 million. And at number 5th, guys, is a really interesting one, that is Fartcoin. And its market cap is $276 million. Now look, guys, because Binance has received some real heavy investment, I'm pretty much sure the next coming weeks and months we will be hearing quite a lot of partnership, and I'm pretty much sure because of that the Binance BNB token, we will definitely be seeing some impacts of as the price is concerned as well. Now let's go and look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin, and the price of Bitcoin is below the $83,000 mark. It is at $82,993, and since the last 24 hours it is down by 0.23%, and since the last 7 days it is down by 3.40%. Ethereum gas is well below the $2,000 mark. It is at $1,906, and since the last 24 hours, guys, it is actually up by 0.48%, and since the last 7 days, it is up by 0.73%. Ripple XRP is at $2.29, and since the last 24 hours, it is up by 1.80%, and since the last 7 days, it is up by 8.75%. Now look, guys, I cannot stress the importance of the FOMC meeting that is scheduled to take place tomorrow, because Federal Chair Jerome Powell is going to take quite a lot of information. He's going to be looking at the inflation data, which is actually down, and just a week before the inflation data, guys, the economic data was out, and so far as the labor market conditions are concerned, things are looking great for the United States of America. Now look, guys, regarding tariffs, I did talk about in the episode that I released last week, and there is a lot of misleading information and incorrect information regarding tariffs, and according to me, guys, tariffs will definitely help the United States of America, and it's going to be really interesting to see if Jerome Powell goes with that information as well. And based on a lot of these information, guys, he will go ahead and make a decision whether to reduce the interest rate, which I very honestly think is extremely unlikely. But let's see if that thing does actually happen. I do feel that the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will see a drastic improvement. But let's say, guys, if he does decide to go ahead and keep the interest rate the same, which I think is extremely likely, that should be great for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as well. But let's say, guys, if Jerome Powell does actually decide to go ahead and increase the interest rate, and if he does see tariffs as a threat to inflation, unfortunately, guys, it is going to have a negative impact of as the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are concerned. But more importantly, guys, it does depend on what narrative mainstream media goes with, so definitely keep an eye on the FOMC announcement. And more importantly, guys, rather than watching fake news or mainstream media, go ahead and listen to Federal Chair Jerome Powell live, because he does go live on YouTube, and he does give reasoning as to why he's decided to go ahead and keep the interest rate the same, reduce it or increase it. But nonetheless, guys, in the episode that I released on the 20th of this month, I'll definitely take a deep dive into this. Now let's go ahead and discuss some news all the way from South Korea. And what is a bit interesting to note, guys, is last week I talked about a Democratic Party, who I believe is the opposition right now. They did have a National Assembly, and in that assembly, guys, they were talking about the benefits of having Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. And the politician was actually inspired by President Donald Trump's move regarding Bitcoin strategic reserve. And the Democratic Party in South Korea was also talking about regulations so far as cryptocurrency is concerned, and they want less regulations. Now this week there's a really interesting update, guys, and the Central Bank of South Korea, that is Bank of Korea, they have dismissed the idea of holding Bitcoin as a foreign exchange reserve, and they are urging caution due to its high price volatility and high cash out costs. This, to be honest, is definitely not surprising, guys, because when you talk about central banks, historically they've been massive detractors of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it? And there is a really interesting article that is published by the Korea Herald, which does actually state that according to the Bank of Korea, guys, the International Monetary Fund does not recognize cryptocurrencies as suitable foreign reserves due to its liquidity, market value, and credit rating criteria. Now, according to me, guys, because the IMF is not recognizing cryptocurrencies as suitable foreign reserves, I think that should be the reason why it should be recognized. Because look, whatever the International Monetary Fund is doing, we need to do exactly opposite of that. And we know what the IMF is doing in El Salvador as well, isn't it? They want to give out loan to El Salvador for around $2 billion, but one of the conditions is to go ahead and make amendments regarding Bitcoin as a legal form of tender in El Salvador. But President Nayib Bukele is a massive fan of Bitcoin, and he's definitely not abiding by the conditions set out by IMF. So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, what kind of control that IMF has on other countries. Now the only thing I can say is, guys, so far as IMF is concerned, in the country of Pakistan, roughly around 2 years ago, they did try to give out a loan, and in that loan, guys, there were so many terms and conditions, and the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, that is Imran Khan, he definitely did not want to go ahead and take out these loans. Now regarding Bitcoin strategic reserve, guys, I'm pretty much sure IMF and other countries will not want Pakistan and other countries to go ahead and accept Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. And these are some of the dangers that IMF puts out when it gives out loans to other countries. Now, the best person, guys, I'd really recommend you guys to go ahead and listen is Andreas Antonopoulos, and he talks some of the dangers that IMF did in this country of Greece. And once you truly understand some of the dangers that IMF sets out, you truly understand why they're against Bitcoin. Now, I'm curious to check, guys, if IMF does have similar conditions when they give out loan to other countries. So at a geopolitical level, guys, these are things you need to be aware about. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some interesting news in the world of ETF and Canary Capital, guys. They have advanced the first ever SUI ETF, and they have actually filed this with the US Security and Exchange Commission. And as we know, guys, major firms like Grayscale, Vanek, they are backing SUI scalable blockchain as well. And because of that, looks like SUI is gaining a lot of traction as well. Now, ever since Bitcoin ETF got launched, there was definitely a boom, but only since the last month or so, guys, a lot of outflows has been seen, isn't it? But regarding the SUI ETF, guys, they aiming to be the next big institutional assets. Now, will this thing get approved? I really am not sure. And I really am not sure what the future of ETF is. But nonetheless, guys, really interesting news. Now, guys, let's go and discuss some news all the way from the European Central Bank. And one of the officials, guys, did actually have an interview with one of the leading publications. And in that interview, guys, he did actually warn about Trump's crypto policies. And he did actually state that President Donald Trump's crypto policies could actually spark a global crisis. Now, me personally, guys, I 100% disagree to it, and along with me, I'm pretty much sure millions of people do actually disagree to this as well. Now, look, guys, it's really important to understand that when you talk about European Central Bank, they are definitely not fans of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and it is no surprise that they're definitely going to be bashing anything positive in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it? And in the article, guys, they're also bashing President Donald Trump's crypto policies, and he has taken signature from 16 Nobel Prize winners. Now, regarding Nobel Prizes, guys, at this point of time, you should know that it is 100% politically aligned, and only left-leaning ideologies are the one who get Nobel Prizes. And here's the interesting thing regarding his interview, guys. He did actually state that President Donald Trump's policies will actually go ahead and increase inflation, but that is not what happened a few days ago, isn't it? Because on the 12th of this month, guys, the inflation data was out, and the inflation has actually gone down. So clearly, based on this interview, looks like it is 100% fake news, and the hypocrisy, guys, is extremely clear, isn't it? Because the European Central Bank, they themselves have their own blockchain technology, but this blockchain technology, guys, is more of a central bank digital currency project where they want to have more control over your spendings, and that is one of the reasons, guys, why they're attacking decentralized cryptocurrency protocols. That regarding President Donald Trump and his administration, they are focusing on deregulations, and that, to be honest, is definitely great for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And here's the hypocrisy by the left-leaning administrator, guys. He talked about how great the Biden administration policies were, and according to him, the inflation did actually go down on the Biden administration. This, to be honest, is 100% fake news, isn't it? Because under the Biden administration, guys, the inflation did actually rise to a 40-year high, and the inflation was actually hovering around the 8% mark. And because of that, guys, we truly need to dismiss this news. But unfortunately, this is the news that left-leaning mainstream media goes with, and a person who is not aware about these things, they would actually believe that Trump's crypto policies are not great for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So I thought, let me go ahead and share this in the Blockchain DXB episode. Now, guys, let's go ahead and discuss some interesting news, and this is in the world of OnlyFans. And 14s, guys, they did actually attack Amarnath, and they attacked her at gunpoint in a failed attempt to steal her cryptocurrencies. Now, thankfully, her husband fired a shot, and they were forced to leave, but looks like the police were able to catch them, and 3 of them, guys, are currently facing robbery and kidnapping charges, and one of them was later found at a hospital with a gun wound as well. Definitely unfortunate news, isn't it? Now, look, guys, I cannot stress this enough. If you are a cryptocurrency influencer, it is best not to go and boast about your cryptocurrency holdings, in my honest opinion. And nowadays, guys, there are also wallets in place where you can artificially go and transfer these funds into their wallets, and then once the matter is resolved, you can actually go and get the funds back. Now, if you do need any consultation on how to go about in doing this, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. So these were the news, guys, on the Bitcoin blockchain cryptocurrency world. Now let's look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. And the first news, guys, is a really interesting one, and this is to do with Avalanche. Now look, guys, so far as Dubai is concerned, the city is continuing to emerge as a global leader in blockchain and digital assets, isn't it? And right now, there's so much initiatives taking place in the world of artificial intelligence as well. And there's an association called as TheBlock, and TheBlock is playing a key role in driving blockchain adoption and innovation in Dubai. And Avalanche, guys, They have become the first apex member of the block, and this marks a significant milestone for blockchain expansion in the region. And according to the news, guys, this partnership supports Avalanche's strategic entry and expansion in the Middle East digital asset market, and so far as the block is concerned, they provide blockchain companies with essential resources, regulatory guidance and strategic partnership, and the block offers structured membership programs, granting direct access to investors, regulators and developers as well, and the block facilitates the establishment and growth of blockchain enterprises within Dubai's evolving digital landscape, and so far as the block is concerned, guys, what they essentially do is, they connect blockchain businesses with key regulatory stakeholders, ensuring smoother market integration, and so far as Avalanche is concerned, they are recognized for their high-performance blockchain infrastructures net, and they are known for their speed, scalability, and security as well. And Avalanche, guys, provides near-instant transaction finality and cost-effective solutions, and this makes them an ideal deal for real-world application. And through the block, guys, Avalanche will be in a position to gain access to a vast network of Web3 founders, startups, enterprises, and industry experts. And so far as the collaboration is concerned, this collaboration based on the news is expected to drive broader blockchain adoption across Middle East and North African region. And so far as Avalanche blockchain technology is concerned, guys, it will support businesses seeking scalable and efficient digital asset solution. And this partnership, guys, strengthens Dubai's position as a hub for blockchain innovation and adoption. And so far as the block is concerned, they are fostering collaboration between blockchain firms, enterprises, and regulatory bodies to enhance industry growth. And the block aims to expand its ecosystem by attracting more global business leaders to Dubai. And if you do need more information regarding the block, guys, the website is www.theblock.ae. And with Avalanche joining the block, Dubai thus further establishes itself as a premier destination for blockchain development, isn't it? Now look, guys, me personally am not a fan of this news, because the whole idea of creating Bitcoin was so that transactions are done between peer-to-peer. Unfortunately, guys, news such as this might actually sound great, and to a certain extent what they're doing is great as well. But look, when you talk about associations, membership clubs and foundations, guys, over a period of time, they tend to have more control as to what protocols are doing, and if that thing happens, guys, it goes against the very ethos of why Bitcoin was created in the first place. But nonetheless, guys, I thought let's go ahead and discuss it in the Blockchain DXB podcast. Now, guys, let's go ahead and discuss a positive news regarding Crypto.com. And they have been licensed in the UAE to offer derivatives, so let me go ahead and give out more information regarding this. Cause the license that they received, guys, extends the provision of Crypto.com's existing virtual asset service provider license in the region. And now, guys, they plan to introduce various derivative products, including futures, perpetual swap contracts, and CFDs as well. And these derivative products, guys, will initially be available to eligible institutional clients globally, with qualified investors to follow later. And retail users on Crypto.com can now access USD fiat deposits, as well as withdrawal services through Standard Chartered Bank. Now this expansion, guys, aligns with Crypto.com's roadmap, which clearly outlines major updates and product launches throughout 2025, isn't it? And Crypto.com, guys, is focused on evolving its platform to become an all-in-one financial technology solution for global users. And the CEO of Crypto.com and president, that is Eric Zanziani, guys, stated the VARA's license is a significant milestone in the company's growth, and this development follows Crypto.com receiving its initial virtual asset service provider license in November of 2023. And Crypto.com, guys, secured full operational approval in Dubai in April 2024, allowing it to expand its services in the region. And in August of 2024, guys, Crypto.com launched global retail services, including banking integration with Standard Chartered Bank, and I covered this in the Blockchain DXB podcast as well. Now regarding this approval from VARA, guys, it does reinforce Dubai's role as a glowing hub for regulated crypto services, isn't it? So definitely positive news. And Crypto.com continues to strengthen its regulatory compliance, security, and privacy to support its expansion. And the company's vision, guys, is pretty simple. Cryptocurrency in every wallet. And this move by them definitely reflects its commitment to driving mass adoption. Now, at this point of time, guys, Crypto.com, if I'm not mistaken, serves over 100 million customers worldwide, making it one of the largest crypto platforms globally. And the company is focused on accelerating cryptocurrency adoption throughout continuous innovation. And Crypto.com, they're also aiming to provide a seamless and secure experience for both institutional and retail investors. Now, if you do need more information, guys, please feel free to go ahead and download the wallet, and you can also go ahead and check out all the news on the website, that is Crypto.com. So these were the newscasts on the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Jake who asks, with the SEC reviewing a SUI ETF, do you see SUI becoming a major institutional asset like Bitcoin and Ethereum? This, to be honest, is a really interesting question. Now, the outset I can clearly state no, because look, the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is absolutely massive. And historically, there have been so many such Bitcoin killers and Ethereum killers, so it's really important to understand the dominance that Bitcoin and Ethereum has over the blockchain protocol. So look, Jake, while the SEC is reviewing SUI ETF as a significant milestone, SUI, according to me, is definitely unlikely to reach the institutional dominance of Bitcoin or even Ethereum for that matter, because Bitcoin already has a first mover advantage, isn't it? And right now, Bitcoin is already considered as digital gold. And when you talk about Ethereum right now is still dominating the smart contract market as well as the decentralized finance market. However, Jake, it's really important to understand when you talk about SUI's unique infrastructure, I do feel leveraging parallel transaction execution and high scalability does make it a strong contender for specific institutional use cases. However, I don't think so it can actually compete with Bitcoin and Ethereum as such. But look, let's say over a long period of time, if institutions do recognize its efficiency for on-chain finance, gaming, and high-frequency transactions, it could probably take a lead against Solana blockchain, because Solana right now is heavily competing with other blockchains, isn't it? So what I feel is, Jake, in order for SUI to become a truly institutional asset, it needs to focus on three things. That is sustained adoption, regulatory clarity, and finally liquidity and stability. And if these factors completely align, who's to say SUI blockchain could emerge as a leading institutional-grade blockchain, but I definitely don't see them dethroning Bitcoin and Ethereum as such, but definitely a great question. And that's about all, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Blockchain DXB podcast, where we cover top news and information pertaining to the price of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And then, guys, we also look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.